All right, I'm back in Oregon. Absolutely incredible sunset going on here. So I had to share it with y'all. I've been thinking more about. I'm thinking more about like when you go through tough times, depression specifically. Someone real close to me is going through it right now, so I'm kind of like making this for him. And I went through this. I went through some pretty bad depression around COVID, and I've kind of kept it under wraps and haven't told very many people. And I think it's time to share that story. Um, what I can remember about that part of my life was I was a completely different person, and in my head a lot of overthinking, constantly worrying about shit that I couldn't control, and really not following my inner compass, not following like my heart and my gut, like not listening to my gut, trying to be a people pleaser, pleasing everybody else, and not focusing on myself. And this is one of the things I'm trying to teach everyone is that like you have to do what makes you happy. You kind of have to be selfish in a way. That's whether or not you got a boyfriend, girlfriend, family, pets, all that sort of stuff. You come first before anyone else. And the reason for that is confidence. Like when you put yourself first before anyone else, that you basically get to know yourself really well. And you know what you like, you know what you don't like, you know what you want, you know what you need in your life. And people they unfortunately kind of try to take that from you. And so I'll probably try to put a link to it. There's a Denzel Washington um, video on YouTube where he talks about protecting your peace. And basically, what he's saying is that, like, when people try to take your peace from you, you basically have to cut them out like a surgical knife and get them out of your life. And some people would say that's a selfish thing. I'm like, that's a necessary thing because, for me personally, I've had a couple people try to scam me this year. 3 people tried to scam me. And I'm not going to say where. You probably know. Uh, and I learned from it. You know, I learned that there's a lot of selfish people out there, but there's also a lot of good people out there. There's a lot of generous people out there. I like to think I'm one of those people. Um, and so, yeah, when you're going through like depression, anxiety, overthinking shit, you're thinking about stuff that you can't control, or you think you can't control it, and you're thinking about the future. You're thinking about something that hasn't happened, or you're thinking about the past that's already happened. Just let it go. Just let it go. Take what you've learned from the past and put it into the present in your life right now. Like I said, I've been through this. I've been through major depression, and the doctors they loaded me up on like 5 different medications, and it basically made me not want to. It made me not want to like feel like I'm going to live anymore. And the only way I came out of that is 2 things: walking dogs and learning how to be in the present moment. They literally taught me how to be in the present moment, taking care of cats um, professionally, and that's how I got out of my depression. I started walking dogs, um, one a day, and then it was like one a day, and then it was like one walk every day, and then it would be a week, and then it was 2 weeks and 3 weeks, and then over time I started coming out of it. And so like if you're ever going through depression, anxiety, shit like that, like what you have to basically do is remember the things you used to like to do before you started to go into the depression, before the anxiety kicked in, and focus on that. So for me, it was like I've always been a gardener. I've been gardening my whole life pretty much, and I love going on walks. And I used to do neighborhood walks when I lived in Portland, kind of patrolling at night. So I kind of like leveraged that, and and I was going through some seriously bad depression where I just like didn't want to get out of bed. I just wanted to sleep all day. I didn't want to do anything. It was just my head wasn't right. I was in there thinking too much, not in the present moment, not right now. That so yeah, if you're struggling and you feel stuck and you think there's no way out, well, there's a way out. It's you. It's you have to figure it out. And it's tricky because if you're, you know, you've got doctors giving you prescription medications, all that sort of stuff. It's like that messes with your brain. I don't think even doctors realize this. Like, and they had my doctors at the time. They had me on 5 different anti-anxiety medications, and none of them were working. And that was their solution to my problems. At one point, they even um, they said, I heard them say this, even when I was like all depressed and all in my head. They basically were saying that like I should get electrotherapy, electro whatever. They zap your brain, that kind of stuff. I'm just like, what? What? Are you kidding me? So yeah, if you're going through depression, anxiety, you're stressed out, what you have to do is go back to you. You have to figure out what makes you happy, and it's simple as that. Just focus on 1 or 2 things that you used to enjoy doing that you just literally stopped doing because of whatever is the stuff that's going on in your life is sort of like taken over, and start from there. Just start small and start simple. So again, it's like go back to me, like go for walks, garden. I love listening to music. I was always in music, and I kind of started combining those two. I was like, well, what if I garden and listen to music? And I sort of like forced myself to do the gardening. And it's like you're basically, when you're going through major depression, anxiety, it's like you check out in a way, mentally. But it's interesting because there's a part of you that's like is telling, it's like there's a part of your brain that's telling you this isn't right, this is not who you are, and that's the way out of it. And for me, like I said, personally, like what I learned is that you have to get into the present moment and focus on the here and now, right now, and don't worry about whatever it is that you haven't accomplished. Don't worry about some goal or whatever that you wanted to do. Just focus on now, focus on today, focus on tomorrow, and start from there. It's kind of like rebuilding yourself up from scratch. And I honestly, for me, when I went through this major depression stuff, like I feel like the old me died in a way, and a new part of me was born. And it took me, I'll say, about 3 years for me to like really become the person I am now. And I don't do that overthinking shit anymore. I literally just like, I call it go mode every day. Charlie Sheen, he he says that it's like there's one speed with Charlie Sheen, go. It's kind of like that. It's just like you have to get to that place where you're doing what makes you happy, not putting other people and things ahead of you. You got to take care of yourself so you can be there for other people and animals and the world and all that sort of stuff. So I hope this helps. If any of you are struggling with anxiety, depression, and that kind of stuff, it's up here in your freaking head. So you have to get out of it. You have to figure it out. Remember what you used to do before you started feeling bummed out and depressed and stuff, and do that. Okay, start small. It works because look at me, right? I'm living on a farm and on the Oregon coast, and literally had an epiphany last year that I should move to the coast, and I did it, and I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. But it's because the overthinking stuff. I stopped doing that, and I'm never going to do that again. And that's what I'm trying to teach all of you out there is like, don't let your brain, your mind race. And Alan Watts talks about this. So like I said, look him up. He always talks about being in the present moment, letting go of the past, letting go and being present. And it takes practice, but the important part is do the practicing. So I hope that helps. the person I'm talking to, you know who you are. I love you, dude. And you got this. Just use me as your role model. And if anyone in who's watching has a question, put it in the comments, and I'm happy to answer it. You can email me. I will respond to emails and DMs and comments. Just don't scam me. All right. Love all you guys, all the ladies, all the gents, all the pooches, all the cats. Do it makes you happy. Okay.